Hello, welcome. Thank you all for joining me this morning or afternoon, wherever you might be. Uh, as you all may have know that this is not an election night because it's in the morning. The primary season has ended, and I thought, well, since there's probably going to be a gap uh, between now and the next elections, I've stated that I would not be covering uh, the 2018 general elections because that is as of right now it is just too much for me to handle in terms of my production of how I do these live streams. And so my next really big election night would have to depend on when the next special elections come for 2019. Want to let everyone who watches this and is tuning in right now that I will be having coverage of the primaries for the 2019 elections in Mississippi and Kentucky, very important gubernatorialships and other statewide elected offices. Those primaries I will cover, as well as the Louisiana jungle primary in October of 2019, as well as any potential runoffs Louisiana might have because of the way their primary systems work. I will also have general election coverage in November of 2019 for those important gubernatorial races in Kentucky and Mississippi, and as well as any other special elections to the United States Senate and/or House, as well as special elections of state legislative seats in 2019. But that is for 2019. We're still in 2018. So I thought to pass the time, I might do this little show called The State of the Race Election 2018. As you see on the screen right there, you can see the map of the United States Senate elections. You can see right there. I want to talk about these elections because I've noticed that what you may see on websites covering elections or the cable news, they generally like to downplay the Democrats' chances at retaking the United States Senate. The people believe that the Republicans are likely to take the Senate. Some people predict a 70% chance, a 2 and 3 shot that Republicans hold the Senate. But that's not exactly true to a certain extent. I'm going to go through filling these states of the races that are currently likely to be safe for the party. California, you're straight there. Dianne Feinstein, Kevin DeLeon. Well, you may not be able to see it, but Kevin DeLeon, Dianne Feinstein, both going to get up against each other in the state of California. So that's going to be a safe Democratic seat, regardless of the outcome. Uh, we move on to Washington State. Maria Cantwell, likely to retain her seat in the state of Washington. So we're going to be rating those as safe and so on and so forth. Hawaii. I'm just going to be filling these in, and I'll make sure to update you on what the current map will look like in about a minute or so. All right. Now, as you see on the screen at this current point in time, you see the races that have been filled in. You hear that it's going to be hard for the Democrats. They're defending 26 seats. Oh my God, how are they going to do this? But they never point out that a lot of these seats are in very safe Democratic hands. As of right now, you see. There are 16 states that are not currently filled up. I'll get to those in a second, but you see a majority of these seats Democrats are defending are in safe Democratic seats. Now, I want to go on through some of the more likely races that are going to be held. You hear the Big Ten. The media love to play up the Big Ten states that Democrats are trying to defend. That's in Pennsylvania because Trump won there. Now, a lot of these states are relatively safe as of this moment. Polling has shown the Democrats have a very good edge. So states like Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Ohio, West Virginia, even I'll get to that in a second. A lot of these seats, because of polling that have come out, have relatively are likely to be stayed in Democratic hands. So these are states that the media love to play above. Oh, Democrats got to defend these seats in states Trump won. Not necessarily the case. The polling has come out and shows Democrats are in a very good position right there. New Jersey, that's Delaware, but New Jersey. This is an iffy case. Bob Menendez polling has shown he's slipping in the polls, but this is likely a Democratic hold. Just off the basis of the whole mood of this current midterm. It's a blue year. Menendez, if this was any other year, if Hillary Clinton was president, Bob Menendez would likely be very big trouble here. But he's rated as likely Dem because anything could happen. Montana. This is the media. The media love to play this as a seat the Democrats got to hold. It's a state Trump won. They never like to point out that Montana has a history of being a ticket splitter state. What that means is that they'll sometimes vote for Democrats down ballot and Republicans on top of the ballot. In 2012, Mitt Romney won the state of Montana. Steve Daines won the Montana's House seat. But Democrat John Tester, at the same time in 2012, won re-election for his Senate seat, and Steve Bullock was elected as a Democrat to succeed the retiring Democratic governor at the same time. So a very big ticket-splitting type of state. You go back to 2016. Trump won by big margins in Montana in 2016. Ryan Zinke won re-election, but Montana also re-elected their Democratic governor, Steve Bullock, at the same time. So Montana has been viewed as one of the more likely seats Democrats are Trump's state seats that Democrats are likely to hold just because of Montana's status as a ticket-splitting state. Nebraska. Now, most people don't really view Nebraska as very competitive. This Nebraska seat in particular was only a seat that the Democrats had lost in 2012. Bob Kerrey failed to hold that seat for the Democrats after Ben Nelson retired. So this is not safe because again, they only lost this 6 years ago. Something could change that they could take the seat back, but we don't know. We'll see. But it's rated as likely Republican, most likely a Republican hold. On our way to Missouri. Missouri is an interesting state. Claire McCaskill has been viewed as the most vulnerable Democrat of elections. She won a squeak of a race in 2006. In 2012, she was viewed as one of the most likely Democrats to lose her seat. But the Missouri GOP nominated Todd Akin to go against Claire McCaskill. Todd Akin led in the polls until he made that gaffe of legitimate rape that took him down in the polls, and McCaskill ended up winning her seat. This year, the Missouri GOP again. Eric Reichens, the Missouri governor, resigned after sexual assault allegations. So the Missouri GOP is not really known for their women-friendly attitude. Josh Hawley, he ran as not being a ladder climber. He ran against ladder climber politicians, only serving 2 years into his first term as I believe the state attorney general. He's a ladder climber trying to climb into the Senate, so that could possibly hurt him. And he's also made a ton of gaffes regarding sexual assault in women, most recently the Kavanaugh hearings. That's not likely to play well. Polling has shown McCaskill doing better than expected. Hawley has rarely led in any legitimate polling. So McCaskill is rated as likely Democrat. She was viewed as a toss-up for most of the year and 2017, but she's now shifted more to the she's shifted more likely to the likely category. In Indiana, same kind of situation with McCaskill. In 2012, Donnelly ran against Richard Murdoch, who made those claims about rape and how God intended for rape to happen. Not really good for the Republicans in 2012. Donnelly ended up winning this seat. This was a net gain. Donnelly, again, viewed like McCaskill as one of the Dems to likely be in trouble this year. Polling has shown him strong against Mike Braun, the Republican. And so Donnelly shifts to the lean category, lean Democrat, after being tossed for most of this year. In Tennessee, this seat is going to be very interesting to watch as we head into November. Marsha Blackburn, Republican, not that very well liked. She's tried to claim that she's for net neutrality, but legislation she's put forth has been against net neutrality. Phil Bredesen, the former Democratic governor, announces running for the seat. He's led in a lot of the polling. Marsha Blackburn has been trailing Bredesen for most of this race. A lot of people say that Blackburn is likely to win this, except that when you look at the polls, Bredesen has a high, I believe, 60% approval rating in the state. So this is a lean Democratic seat that the Democrats are likely to pick up if they want to take control of the United States Senate. It's going to be a very important seat. So all the fundamentals say, oh, Tennessee, this shouldn't even be in play, but it is. A former popular governor who's still popular is running for the seat. I believe Bredesen is likely to win this seat, as the polling indicates. So this is also a lean Democratic seat in Tennessee. Now, as you see, you can see right there, Democrats currently at 48, Republicans are at 47 currently. So people who have been saying Democrats are got to defend all their seats, that's not an entirely unplausible scenario. It's very plausible that Democrats do hold on to most of their seats, if not all their seats. But we'll get to that a little later. Let's go down to Florida. This is a seat. The polls have shown this being a tight race. A tight race in Florida. That's a shock. Not really. Throughout the past months, Scott has led in the polls, but after the primary, it's been shown to be a very tight race. Now, people believe that Scott's going to win this. Nelson is in trouble. But when you think about it, Rick Scott won the governorships in 2010 and 2014 by squeaker margins, meaning he won them by very close totals. And those 2 years, 2014 and 2010, were big Republican wave years. So Scott has vastly underperformed in very big Republican wave years in the state of Florida. And so expecting him to win against Bill Nelson in a blue wave year, that's just not a very plausible scenario. Add to the fact that Democrats got lucky and nominated a very good progressive candidate for the top of the ticket for the Florida governorship, Andrew Gillum, who his coattails are likely to push Nelson over the top. So while polling itself has been tight and shown a very toss-up race, the fundamentals of this being a blue wave year, which is likely to help Nelson, the midterm curse is on his side, Republicans likely to not turn out, as well as coattails from Gillum, who's been beating Ron DeSantis, his Republican opponent for the governorship, in the polls, are likely to show that Nelson is a little more comfortable than most people make him out to be. So this is a lean seat for the Democrats. Since you see right there, 49 to 47, they only need two more pickup seats. So right now we're already up to Democrats' possibilities of taking back the Senate to be better than 30% is what people have been giving them. In Texas, this Texas race is a genuine toss-up right now. While Cruz has been leading in most polling, the polling has been gotten tighter and tighter. And at one point, there was a Reuters poll that had O'Rourke leading Ted Cruz. When was the last time you saw that happen this far or this close out from an election? A Democrat leading Ted Cruz by 2 points. So this race has shifted to toss-up. As right now, it's a pure, genuine toss-up. Now, people think Texas is this big red state. It's going to be hard for the Democrats, especially running as a liberal. But all races, for the most part, in most states, come down to turnout. Turnout is what I like to say. Who wins elections? Democrats turned out 3.8 million voters for Hillary Clinton in Texas in 2016. Republicans, I believe, turned out 4.5, maybe even more than that in Texas in 2016. Now, Trump only won it by 9 points. Now, in 2014, John Cornyn got around 2.7 million votes in 2014 in his Senate race, and Democrats got about, I believe, 1.6 million votes in 2014. If Democrats had turned out 3.5 million, uh, I'm sorry, in 2012, Democrats turned out more than 2.7 million voters in 2012 for that election. So if those same Democratic voters that turned out in 2014, they would have won in that Senate race. So the same fundamentals apply here. Can Democrats turn out more than Republicans? If they can do that, then this seat, Beto can win. And he has a better chance of winning than most people think, just because of the fact that turnout is what wins elections. So this race is a genuine toss-up at this current point. Arizona, the Democrats have been having their eyes on this from day one since Trump was sworn into office. This is a seat that Jeff Flake is giving up. The polls have shown Kirsten Sinema leading McSally. McSally has only led in 2 polls, I believe. So this is a seat that Democrats and I feel comfortable with putting in their category. As you see right there already, because we've given them Arizona now, as it leans Democrat. The Senate is right now 50-47. Democrats look on track to win. Now, here. So they're already in a better comfortable position now after I've laid out all the information than most people think. Now, let's go to North Dakota, because this is a seat that Democrats, including myself, believe that they might end up losing. Now, that's not to say that they can't win it. Remember, in 2012, think back to that Nebraska race. The Nebraska Senate race in 2012 was the exact same as the North Dakota race. Ben Nelson in 2012 retired from the Senate. This was a prime GOP pickup opportunity. Bob Kerrey, a former statewide elected senator who has been out of public eye for about 12 years at the time, trying to win back his seat, he lost to Deb Fischer, and that was a Republican gain. North Dakota, same thing. Kent Conrad in 2012 retired from the Senate. Heidi Heitkamp, a former statewide elected attorney general for North Dakota, who's been out of the eye for 12 years again, but she won that seat. At the same time, that was a seat that the Republicans should have picked up, but Heitkamp won it in a presidential election year when Republican turnout should have crushed her. So there's also that, and this is in a presidential election year, so Heitkamp should technically have a better chance of winning. The problem is that there just aren't enough North Dakota Democrats that she can win on her own. Unlike Texas, where Democrats could win on just turning out their base alone, you can't really do that in North Dakota. In 2016, about 95, it was either 95 or even 65,000 Democrats who voted in 2016. So Heitkamp needs to put back her coalition from 2012 in order to win. Now, whether she can do that is not clear. Polls have shown Kramer leading Heitkamp, although there's been very scarce polling. But again, even though the polling has been on Kramer's side for the most part, the same thing. Heitkamp only led in 3 polls in 2012, and she ended up winning that race. So again, this is really a race that should be a toss-up. However, Kramer recently has made comments about the Kavanaugh hearings, which is not likely to help him among women. Add on to the fact that, again, this is a Democratic wave year, puts this race as a tilt advantage to Heidi Heitkamp. And we're already right there. Just that. 51. Now, again, that would be relying on North Dakota. And that's not really a surefire thing. So where else can Democrats look? You see right there, the state of Nevada. This was a state that Hillary Clinton won in 2016. She won this state. Catherine Cortez Masto, a Democrat, was also elected at the same time to succeed the retiring Democrat Harry Reid. Nevada also sent 2 more Democrats to the House of Representatives, one of them being Jackie Rosen, who's the current nominee. Jackie Rosen has also beat Heller in almost all the polling, bar a few outlier polls here and there. And because of that, the fact that Dean Heller is running in a blue state, I've actually rated this as a safe Democratic seat, meaning that this is a seat that the Democrats are very guaranteed to pick up. Now, most people think Nevada is a toss-up. Nevada is not a toss-up. I mean, this is think of Colorado in 2020. Cory Gardner, he's not going to win his seat. Same thing with Dean Heller. He's voted along the lines of Trump almost 100% of the time. He's in a blue state that have soured. Heller ran an ad criticizing Jackie Rosen for being with Hillary Clinton, despite the fact that Hillary Clinton won his state. So it doesn't seem that Dean Heller doesn't think he's either stupid or he doesn't care, could be both, about his chances. And so this is a seat that the Democrats, I predict, is the media will call this Nevada Senate race once the polls close. And right there, you see right there, we can give the GOP North Dakota. We can give them Texas as well. Democrats are still picking up, still taking back the Senate because they pick up Nevada, Arizona, and Tennessee. They only need 2 seats to win back control. Meaning, if they win those 3 seats, they can afford to lose either Florida or North Dakota. North Dakota and Florida are the 2 states, are the 2 Senate seats that the people believe have a chance of flipping. I personally don't think Florida is necessarily close to flipping, but it could be. But even that, they could afford to lose North Dakota and still and still pick up the Senate. But as of right now, these are the current ratings at this point of time. 52, that the ratings show the Democrats picking up 3 seats, possibly a 4th in Texas. So that's where the say of the race for the Senate currently stays right now. If any of you are interested in possibly doing this on a week-by-week basis to see how these ratings have changed, if at all, or going more in depth to individual races, feel free to leave a comment. I thank you for anyone who's joined me for this stream, as well as anyone who is watching this. I thank you, and just remember, use your right to vote, because the right to vote is the most important right you have. Thank you for joining me. Have a good day.